Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Ballmeister.
And we've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. Today, we are continuing to explore the modern format in the wake of the Arkham's Astrolabe ban. Definitely an interesting, varied format with a lot of things to touch on, and we are starting with two
staples and standard.
Let's say unique decks. You know,
yeah.
We heard everybody talking about how this white weenie deck beats Temur Reclamation, and we wanted to put it to the test. But I guess we did it in the wrong format.
I guess we did, yeah. It's pretty crazy that there is still a mono white deck in Modern that's been getting a ton of hype, just like the mono white deck in Standard that took down this last Red Bull Untapped event. And there's a Temur Reclamation deck that, well, it seems to be taking over, every single format right now. So we wanted to meme a little bit, but also demonstrate that these are some really good decks. And I'm especially excited for the mono white deck. Yeah. I've been hearing a lot of chatter about that thing.
Oh, yeah. And very polarizing chatter as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's some people that are saying this deck is really good, some scoffing at it and saying, it's completely unplayable. So with that kind of a wide range, we definitely had to show it off.
That sounds like a Versus Live deck with that kind of range.
Exactly. And as far as Reclamation goes, there's several different Reclamation decks poking around in Modern right now. There's a Simic variant, there's a Sultai variant. This is a Temur variant from Canister. Took 9th place in last weekend's Modern Challenge.
Okay.
And a couple others were way up in the standings in those events as well. So definitely something that you can be doing. You know, they're not as all in on the Reclamation plan as the standard version of the deck. They usually play 2 or 3 Reclamations, not as many big things. They play out more like a control deck.
Yeah.
The typical pairing is Factor Fiction, so that when you Reclamation untap 4 lands, you can immediately start pulling ahead on cards.
And the nice thing about Factor Fiction is Factor Fiction puts stuff to the graveyard. So if you see Uro in one of your piles, you're very incentivized to actually just take the other pile. So it makes making piles pretty tough playing against it. I know I struggled a little bit when I was playing, just Bant. This deck started popping up. Personally, I think the Sultai Reclamation decks are the best, just because having Fatal Push, having Abrupt Decay, all these really good ways to interact, as well as having this over-the-top effect I really like. But definitely a cool style deck.
Yeah. And then
pairing Expansion, Explosion, and Temur Reclamation, or in Wilderness Reclamation, is a brand new thing we're trying on Versus Live today. We hope it works.
We're nothing if not innovators.
Exactly.
As far as the white weenie deck here goes, it's basically a token strategy. We're using Venerated Loxodon, which is really nice. Spectral Procession, so you have that really nice curve of turn 2, raise the alarm, gather the townsfolk, some 2 token maker into Spectral Procession on turn 3, and you've got 5 creatures there ready to convoke the Loxodon.
It's a lot of power.
Yeah, when you combine that with Force of Virtue, you get to have multiple Anthem effects and a bunch of tokens on the battlefield by turn 3, turn 4, and that's a pretty good clock. We don't have a ton of disruption. This is a linear aggro deck, but with all the token makers, you're pretty good against spot removal. There's not a lot of sweepers around right now in Modern. Not a lot of Supreme Verdicts. Not a lot of Anger the Gods. Or, scattered throughout some sideboards, but way less than
including my sideboard.
Sure,
but not many. Yeah.
Even against Anger, you've got Venerated Loxodon that survives.
Yep.
You can also sometimes just get them up to 4 toughness.
Yeah, then I'm dead.
Yeah. You've got Unbreakable Formation to protect against those. Yeah. You even have some counterplay. Got a lot of different good utility lands between various Horizon lands, Sheffet Dunes, and Windbrisk Heights.
Oh, I love that card. That's one of my favorite cards of all time. I was putting Overrun underneath it a lot back when it was in Standard. That was probably my favorite thing to be doing in the green-white tokens list, but I'm really big fan of that card.
Yeah, so we'll see how it does, and we'll see if, this matchup is slanted in White's favor as it seems to be in Standard, although very different decks.
Very different decks, yeah. We're mostly memeing on that aspect, but it is something we will be seeing this weekend at the PG Finals. That should be exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so I see Marbles over on your side. We had a nice close battle on Tuesday.
We did.
I will be on the play to start match 1 here.
Dang it. Can I let you win the last show to let me go first? Because I think this is an important play-draw matchup here.
If you want to hand over the marbles.
No, never. Absolutely never.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy keep on my side.
Yeah, but this is reasonable. I could definitely see myself getting ran over, but I'm definitely going to keep it.
Okay, Plains pass.
All right. I have a Scolding Tarn pass.
I'll go to 19 and play God of the Townsfolk.
Just 2 1/1s?
2 Shaheen Saranis.
All right.
How scary.
That's not that scary. I am going to sack a Scalding Tarn. And I'm going to get a Stomping Ground. And I am going to use the very common phrase. Some say bolt the bird. I say bolt the Sirani. It's a very common phrase. We'll try to maintain your battlefield a little bit. So I'm going to go to 17.
Yep.
And you're at 19. All right. Then I'm going to untap. I'm going to play this is land, and I'll pass to you.
Attack for 1.
Beat 16.
I will go to 18 and play Spectral Procession.
Okay.
This is 3 spirit tokens.
I guess I will respond, just in case I draw something. I will Growth Spiral.
Yep.
Suppose I do have Force of Negations in my deck. I am probably going to be casting that. What do I want to pitch, though? This is tough, because this does kind of wreck my hand. I think it's just got to be this. I think this card is probably good enough. Maybe the other way around. Sorry, this one's really close. I'm definitely forcing it. So I know this deck runs like Path, so I'm thinking this Uro isn't the most powerful, so I'm leaning on that. But it's also, I'm very close to bringing it back, and then you have to have an answer for it. Still draws me a card. All right, we're gonna do the opposite and pitch the Fact or Fiction.
Okay, pass the turn.
Okay, I'm gonna go to 15. And blue-green is probably what I want now.
Yeah, like 3 cards in hand now?
Yep. Definitely depleted ourselves a bit. But controlling your tokens is definitely what I need to be doing in this matchup.
So many incredible sources of card advantage that you can definitely afford to deplete yourself early.
Agreed. I am just going to go land go.
Attack for 1.
14.
Pass the turn.
All right. End step. I will sacrifice this.
13.
And get a breeding pool. And then I will lightning bolt your Shaheen. So you got me at 13 or 14?
13.
Okay. 13 to 18?
Yep.
Okay. I am going to play a Wilderness Reclamation.
Sure.
Your go.
With the Reclamation trigger on the stack,
Yep.
I'll raise the alarm.
The alarm's been raised.
This is soldier tokens.
Okay.
So now we need Aaron Barrich at the party.
Okay. Sounds like a good party.
Okay. I will play another raise the alarm.
I'm going to counter and draw. Try to stop your Loxodon turn there.
I'll take a point, play Virtue, and attack for 4.
Okay.
So I'm at 17, you're at 9?
Yep.
You can go.
All right. Untap. It's a decent draw, I guess. All right, I will play an Uro.
Gonna bring you to 12.
12, draw. Play a land. Growth Spiral. Untap and pass to you.
Attack for 4.
I will take it.
Brings you to 8.
Yep.
I will play a Venerated Loxodon.
I will counter that.
You can go.
All right. I will bring back a row. I guess this is a Sanctuary deck, so I want to leave some good hits. And I'm also a Wrenn and 6 deck, so I want to leave 1 land. So that's probably the The cards I really want to stay. Force is pretty good as well, I guess. So I'll exile these 4. Trigger.
You mean exile 5?
Exile these other 4, I guess I should have said.
Okay.
Yeah. I did it right, but words are hard. Play this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brings you to 11.
11. Trigger. Draw. Okay. End step trigger. So I'm going to float a red. And I'll use that red to bolt a creature. Pass to you. No path. I like that. I like that a lot, chat. I like it a lot.
I'll go to 16 and play Loxodon.
No response. Fact or fiction? Yay, I don't have to do it. Just let you do it. There's something just freeing about being on this side of fact or fiction. It's like, I just get to look at 2 piles. Pretty tough for me to not want to take one that has more cards. Just some easy stuff.
So I think it's pretty clear that we want to group Wrenn and 6 with lands. I'm wondering if I want to... I don't really want to put Lightning Bolt and Fact or Fiction next to each other, too, because they're probably the 2 best cards in the stack. The Bolt is, it's whatever. But
Yeah, pretty medium.
you have 1 card in hand right now?
I have Uno Mas. Field of the Dead, I only have 4 uniques, so that will only be the 5th. I do have Snow Island and Regular Island, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, the Misty Rainforest, I assume, can get a Steam Vents or a basic forest of some kind.
It could even get a boat. You know how much we wanted one of those on versus Live Ross.
But so you already have a Misty in your graveyard, so Wrenn 100% goes with the Misty Rainforest.
That makes sense.
That's 100%.
I picked that one. Take a fine drink of my beverage real quick while I let you think.
Yeah, I think we've got to put Field over here as well. So yeah.
Okay, I'll take another 5. Wrenn and 6 here, since you have the Anthem effect, it's never going to kill anything, so I think it's pretty weak on that. And then I'll bolt that. Right? So would have got a counter, but
Yeah.
Okay, let's start by giving an old Optorino. Keep that. Attack. Trigger.
Brings you to 14.
14 to 18. I'm going to draw a
I'm
map.
at 16.
You're at 16?
Yep.
Okay.
Now I'll go to 10.
Okay. All right. Then second main, I'm going to play a Wilderness Reclamation.
Floating 1.
0. I opted. Yeah. All right. So first untap trigger. Blue-green Growth Spiral. That's awkward that it doesn't get a Misty right there. I'll play it. Sack.
13.
All right, 13. And then I will Foff with this trigger on the stack. So now I'm untapping. This will be what I'm left with. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops.
You have 1 in hand right now?
1 in hand.
It's a little awkward. So I actually cannot keep you off of being able to at least pitch a Force of Negation. So if that is the case, then I think I need to stack the 2 forces by themselves.
Yeah, and if I had
each other,
if I had 1 floating here, it's just I'd take Nexus of Fate no matter what, you know. But since I will only have 6 mana, Nexus of Fate, it's going to be insane next turn, of course, but won't be good enough this turn.
Do I want to put the Blast Zone with the Nexus, or do I want to put it with the Forces? I think with the forces.
All right, I'm going to take these, so I shuffle Nexus back in still, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, I got nothing else. Your go.
At 13 right now.
Factor Fiction is a heck of a magic card in this deck, I must say.
Four in hand.
4 in hand. You know 3 of them. And the rest of you know this one.
Just a little bit late on that draw.
Yeah, you're in trouble there, buddy.
How do I get out of this?
I think the best way you get out of this is by me not top decking that Force of Negation when you played Spectral Procession.
Oh yeah, the game was immediately over if the procession resolved. Just immediately over. Okay, I will play a Racy line.
I will force it.
I will attack for 4.
That's haste, right? Haste, right? Oh, just tokens. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yep, 9.
I will sack Sunday Candy.
Okay.
I will pass the turn.
Okay. Untap. Blast Zone on 1. Oh, thank you. I will attack. Draw.
So you go to 12 and I go to 4.
Okay. Go to my end step. Triggers.
Yep.
Float 7. 3 floating. Factor Fiction.
Sure. And I'm dead.
Yep. I'll take this one. I think my hand was still pretty solid. All right. All right. This felt sweet. I did not think that's how game 1 was going to go before I get sweepers and with you on the play, admittedly. But having Bolt immediately, I think, was very helpful. And then that Force was obviously broken.
Yeah, you had a strong curve on the draw and kept me off balance just long enough to establish the arrow.
Yep. That's the story of the game. Let's see if that's going to be the story of the match. We are going to take a short break. We're going to bring you some sideboarding here with Temur Reclamation against Mono White in Modern. We will see you soon.
Welcome back to Versus Live. We are sideboarding in our matchup between Mono White Tokens and Temur Reclamation. On my side, kind of some minor upgrades, essentially. Nothing too fundamentally shifting about my deck at all, really. I don't want to draw that many paths. I know I didn't have the path for that arrow in game 1, and it was critical for Corey to pull ahead, but I've got 4 paths in the main. That's probably too many. I'm going to trim a couple for some Conclave Tribunals, which can answer Uro, but also can answer Reclamation.
Makes sense.
Need be. Can also just be free, which is very nice, and not give you a land. You do have Cryptic Command to bounce it, so there's give and take to either one, but definitely want to try out the Tribunals. I'm also bringing in the second Unbreakable formation, certainly expecting some sweepers, and you see Corey has several. Cutting a Force of Virtue. This card is unlikely to protect my cards from sweepers, and if I draw too many of them, the card disadvantage is a liability, especially against Corey's counterspells. If this gets remanded, if it gets Cryptic Commanded, it's a huge loss of material.
I never even thought about that getting remanded. That sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to draw too many of them. Unbreakable Formation is a similar type of effect, but also has the advantage of protecting me from sweepers.
So we're both using the Force here, I guess. So this is basically Star Wars match here. We got the Force of Negation and Force of Virtue. On my side, I'm going to be taking out the 1 Renin 6 on the draw. I think there's certain draws where it lines up quite nicely. If you play, one of your 2-mana sorcery servo cards, it's pretty good. But if you play like the instant speed one, Raise the Alarm, and I go Ren, tick up, and then you have an Anthem effect, it's just so bad. I'm just paying 2 mana to regrowth a land, and that's not great, but I could be wrong. And on the play, I think I am going to, if I lose this game, I'm going to bring that back in, and I'm going to bring in the other one, because I think they're a lot better on the play than on the draw. But also taking out an Opt, it's just one of those cards where you don't want to dirtle around that much against an aggro deck. So even in Standard, I'd take out Opts a lot in basically every matchup that's aggressive, just to make sure you're not being like, okay, I have to opt this turn to make sure to hit my land drop, because sometimes you can't afford it. And then I'm going to take out Archmage's Charm. It's my most expensive counterspell that doesn't affect the board massively. Like taking a token and blocking is fine if you have Virtue, but my other options as far as counter spells are taking out Cryptic Command, and these are time walks for me half the time, so that's a little bit more important to me. And then bringing in mass removal here, this is going to be insane. I mean, these are going to be insane as well. EE especially. If I had 4, I'd bring in all 4. That's for sure. That card seems amazing against a token deck.
Yeah, we talked about this deck a little bit on Tuesday, the mono white tokens deck, and it does do some powerful things. And you saw, in that game 1, if Corey didn't have that Force of Negation, I was going to end that game very quickly.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear what you need to be doing if you want to interact with it. So there's a ceiling as to how good this deck can be, and it's the ceiling of how much people are going to respect it.
And that's the exact same way that I evaluate the blue-red prowess deck. I played it for my dropping bombs, and I mean, you can definitely go watch it now. It went live yesterday, but I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed with the deck. I lost to you with it as well against blue-white.
Yeah, but we're cursed with prowess decks on versus.
I think so, but honestly, it's one-dimensional. If you want to beat these decks, there's a very clear way to do it, and that's the same with mono white. So I tend to not love those decks in Modern, because Modern is just about such high power level that you can play in such a way where, if they answer your plan A, you have a plan B. Like this deck's plan B is Uro. This deck's plan A is Wilderness Reclamation Nexus kind of shenanigans. So I like having 2 plans in Standard or in Modern right now. I'm even throwing myself off that we're playing a Standard matchup here. Hey, Rob, you know what I'm going to ask you? You got any good ones?
I do. We have a few people in chat asking about this mono white deck and whether or not it would be better if it played more like the old black-white tokens build and had some disruption or Bitter Blossom in the deck. Instead of just maximizing Venerated Loxodon.
Are we getting close to Ghost Dad? That's what that deck was called, right? With Promise of Brune Ray and stuff?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, Corey.
Yeah.
One, Ghost Dad was the deck with Tallowisp and Spirits. There were like 4 different Orzhov aggro decks in that standard environment.
Yeah.
The Promise of Boonray Hulk deck was a different one. He's talking about Orzhov tokens that existed in Modern.
Okay.
Completely different deck.
Okay, so
those are 3 completely different decks.
Nice. So he was coming here, and I was aiming there and there.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Okay, I'll let you answer that while I drink my beverage, okay?
So the Orzhov tokens deck that has existed in Modern at various times is, as it was noted in the question, sort of a disruptive mid-range deck that used the Lingering Souls and different token synergies. Usually there's some Planeswalkers in there.
Yep.
To grind out other mid-range decks.
Okay.
And then still used its disruption to be, have a fighting chance against, combo decks and big mana decks and things like that. Though they didn't have the same clock that a deck like Jund has with Bloodbird Elf and Tarmogoyf, so they were worse in those matchups, but they were good in the mid-range mirrors. And that's kind of where they position themselves. It's hard to say like what would be better is doing that or doing this, because they're completely different decks. You can call them both tokens decks, but one is a disruptive mid-range deck. This is a synergy-driven aggro deck. Like you said, it's maximizing Venerated Loxodon. So when you compare them, it's not that one is better than the other. You have to look at the context in which they exist.
Yeah, one could be better in this metagame, though.
Yeah.
Do you think this would be better in the metagame, or that would be?
So right now, the way Modern is, I think you do have to have a pretty good clock.
Yep.
And there's not enough of those mid-range decks, and actually like those other mid-range decks that Orzhov tokens used to be really good against have all gotten better, whereas Orzhov tokens is only like marginally improved. They probably play Legion's Landing now, just like this deck. But, with things like Seasoned Pyromancer and Renin 6 against Lingering Souls, I think the matchup of that deck against things like Jund, it's old bread and butter, is much worse than it used to be. So that deck I don't think is very well positioned, whereas this deck has
or God forbid Plague Engineer, it seems like Lingering Soul was a generational card where the power level has surpassed it. And it's just, I see people still trying to play that card in Modern queues every once in a while, and it's just never good. It's just never good. I mean, it's that card has lost its time in the sun, in my opinion.
It's not what it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
This deck is doing something completely different in being a focused aggro deck, and that does present some problems for a lot of decks, even things like mid-range decks, because there just aren't a lot of sweepers. So that's the reason that I think this deck is potentially good right now. I think the 3 sweepers you have in your sideboard is probably the maximum that you ever see in a 75. Not just in a sideboard, but between main and 75, no deck really plays more than 3 sweepers, and it's usually less than that.
Yeah. I think the band decks I was playing was usually 2 with more focused spot removal and stuff. So yeah, that makes total sense.
So as far as metagame positioning, this deck has to beat out the Orzhov deck by a lot.
I think one more thing to clarify on that is when a deck like that is good, is when like Mardu Pyromancer is good in the metagame because they share some of those similar cards. But Mardu Pyromancer has not been good in so long. It's just Magic has evolved fast.
Since got banned.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't even think it was really played before then.
Because of all the broken stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
But, it certainly couldn't have been good after that. Because looting got banned. It was the unfortunate casualty of the looting ban because that deck is kind of fun. I don't mind
never
a deck
great.
like that to exist. Yeah, but I
mean, it did take second at the Pro Tour in the hands of Jerry, and I still think that deck was not good at that Pro Tour even, but Jerry made it work.
There was a lot of humans around. I think you just beat up on a lot of human decks.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, great question. Let's keep these games going.
And I have another reasonable hand.
Yeah, mine's reasonable as well. I suppose I can keep.
Okay, Windbrisk Heights.
Okay.
Let's check out our top 4, and I guess I will take this one.
Okay. God, I love that land so very much. I'm going to play a Misty, and I'll pass to you.
Okay. I have a Plains and an Intangible Virtue.
That sounds intangible. Okay. Sacrifice. I think I want a blue-red land here.
So you're at 19.
We would call that Steam Vents in the Biz. I'm at 19. Okay. 19 to 20. I will untap. I will play this forest, and I'll pass to you.
Let's play Windbrisk Heights' best friend.
Yeah, that is, they are buddies. I'm going to remand that.
Okay. Pass the turn.
All right. I will play a Misty and pass to you.
Let's try this again.
I'll counter that one for good this time.
Brings you to 18 on the fetch.
I'm just going to get a Snow-Covered Island.
And I'll be done.
All right. I'm at 18. I will play a Foothills, and I'll pass to you.
Pass the turn.
And step, I'll crack this.
17.
I'm going to take 2 more.
15.
And I'll play a Fact or Fiction. Resolve?
Yep.
Wow. It's not very good.
So, I certainly can't split 2 lands forest versus 2 lands, because then you just take 2 lands forest. If I split 3 lands versus force in a land, maybe you just want to hit a bunch of land drops and you take the lands. I'm just wondering if I want to split just lands against the force, though.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think you have 2 options here.
Yeah, it's lands against the force, or we would definitely put the Stomach Grind here just to cut you off of less blue mana.
Mm-hmm.
You have how many cards in hand?
I have 5.
So if you needed lands and I put you up to 9 cards in hand, you drop to 10, you play a land, you go to 9. It's unlikely that you probably have to discard the hand size, right? And you're probably going to end up just discarding one of the lands. So I don't think there's a huge difference. Whereas if you really want the force of negation, it could be a difference if I go this way.
Seems logical.
Seems logical to me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the 4-1 split.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to take lands. I mean, yeah, I'm likely to discard, but just 4 cards compared to 1 is just too many. So, untap.
I expected you to take the lands, but I don't think there's a huge look. The 4th land is just going to end up in their graveyard anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
If you had a bunch of lands in hand and you really wanted the forest, it could make a huge difference to cut you off the card.
No, I'm totally with you. I think that was a pretty strong play. I'm going to play this. Sacrifice.
You go to 14?
14 to 20. Look at a Sanctuary.
What are we targeting?
It's a good question. I think I just want to restock on cards here. So I'm thinking just Facts or Fiction again. Yeah, we're going to put Fact on top. I'm going to play Wilderness Reclamation.
Yep.
I'm going to move to End Step Trigger.
Trigger on the stack, I will play Raise the Alarm.
Okay, that resolves.
Trigger on the stack, I will play Raise the Alarm.
Okay.
So I have 4 soldiers.
Yep.
And then your trigger resolves.
Okay, so I'm going to float a blue. Untap. With that blue, I'm going to Growth Spiral.
Yep.
And put...
I don't know if Corey has a land to put in. It'd be tough.
Hey, Rob, how many Mystic Sanctuaries do I have? I would assume more than 1, probably 2. Thanks, bud. Thanks.
You mean hopefully not, right, Rob?
Of course.
You have
Whose
2.
side are you on? I have 2. Okay. All right. I will put Blast Zone into play.
I still know you have 2 Tarns and a Stomping Ground in hand.
Correct. Okay, so I have 7 cards, not discarding. I'm sticking my tongue out if you can tell. 10 cards, 9, 8, Growth Spiral, gets rid of a card. Okay, so then I will just pass to you. Upkeep. I don't know, Bolt and Aaron Barrett. Probably should have did that at end step, but whatever.
Draw. I will...
So you know these.
Yeah, so you have 2 unknowns.
Yep.
I'll play an Intangible Virtue.
Okay.
I will declare tax.
Tap drop.
You can go.
Untap. So I want to start with this. I'm going to leave a Blast Zone untapped and another land. So worst case scenario, I could charge up the Blast Zone to 2 with my land drop and then untap and explode it and destroy the intangible virtues. But I think this gives me the most options of what land I want to play. So we'll start with the Factor Fiction.
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gross. Just like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You already have a million lands.
Yeah, I'll take the Factor Fiction. Well, that is not what I wanted to see.
You spent 4 mana to make no change in your hand.
Yep. Except increase the amount of times to draw Nexus of Fate. All right, so that is a good point. Nexus of Fate is a card I can Factor Fiction for again. If I play a land, 1, 2, 3, land is 4. 1, 2, no, I'm 1 short. Okay. One, two, 3. Well, I think I kind of have one play this turn, so I am going to sack.
You go to 13.
13. I'm going to get a Mystic Sanctuary, put my Cryptic Command on top. All right. Then I'm going to go to my end step.
Yep.
Trigger on the stack, put a charge counter on Blast Zone.
Yep.
Untap, pass to you.
Pop this canyon.
Okay. All right, I have 2 lands, okay?
Yeah, 2 lands and a off.
And a off, yep.
Legion's Landing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Now getting Andriel and Bogan. Everybody's coming to the party.
God.
I have so many friends on this episode.
You do have a lot of friends.
Declare tax.
Too bad it's not more like real life, huh? Wait, what? Oh, real life? Oh, okay. Yeah, beginning of combat. I'm going to blow Blast Zone.
Okay. Attack you for 3.
Yep.
Brings
No blocks.
you to 10.
Yep.
This
Transforms, yeah.
Also transforms. Activate when it targets.
Okay.
Cast Gather the Townsfolk.
I'll force that.
Okay, Shaheen is... This is exiled.
Okay.
No Shaheens.
No Shaheens for you.
Conclave Tribunal, the Wilderness Reclamation.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
All right, I'll draw
This is
this.
the first turn that I felt like went pretty well for me.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
I haven't liked how I've played a lot of this game, to be honest. The previous turn playing that Intangible Virtue when I had the Tribunal and it took me off of it when you cryptic me was horrible.
So you have 1 card, huh?
I have 1 card in hand.
And I'm at 10.
And you have 6.
Yep.
And it's like 5 land, cryptic. 2 unknowns.
Yep. Oh, boy.
They're stomping around Scalding Tarn.
Well, I think it'd be pretty tough for you to kill me. Double Anthem next turn would get me. But I think I'm okay with that. I think I still just use this opportunity to Factor Fiction to try to find maybe an Uro that I could play. I don't think I need to just Cryptic tap. I don't think that's a winning line right now. So I'm going to start by Factor Fictioning.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. Can't even split up. You can split up the rounds. All right, I'll take that 1 pile. Well, my other 2 Factor Fictions were absolutely heinous, but this one, it made up for it. And there we get rewarded by doing this early. Get very rewarded because we get to Wrath now. That's going to be a thinker for Ross, that's for sure. I don't envy you on that Fact or Fiction. This is a tough one for me to not take 3. Whatever the 3 pile is, it's almost impossible. Unless it's 2 sweepers on the other side, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I can give you 2 sweepers.
Yeah, I don't think so, because you can rebuild, but...
I'm thinking... So I think I want to put the Anger in the 3 pile, because EE is better than Anger. You won't have to shock. You'll be able to, like, you know, either do something else for 1 mana or play a tapped Stomping Ground along with it. Whereas if you have to Anger this turn, then might have to shock, and that 2 damage could be relevant.
Yep.
So Anger is definitely going to be in the 3 pile, and EE is going to be in the 2 pile.
Okay.
So I don't think I can give you 2 sweepers.
Okay.
Then my first instinct was like this, but I think Cryptic and EE are the 2 best cards. So I think you almost assuredly just snap this off, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty
So
solid.
like 2 Cryptics with the Sanctuary, but can I realistically do this? Maybe EE has to be in the 3 pile because it can't really be with Cryptic, and Cryptic can't really be in the 3 pile.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because it's basically like these are the 3 really good cards. Remand is whatever, Opt is, you know, fine.
Yep.
So I think they have to go together with one of these cards, one of the sweepers, and the Cryptic has to go with the other.
Okay.
So maybe my first instinct of the EE having to be in the 3 pile or 2 pile is wrong. Because I give you the worst sweeper and the next best card, or the best sweeper and 2 cards. Yeah, I like this.
Okay. I think it's super close.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be bad for me either way.
Yeah, and one thing with already having a Cryptic that you know about, if I really wanted to, I could tap bounce for the rest of the game, basically. I mean, you do have to take a turn off to redraw it and stuff like that, but every other turn tapping your team seems fine. So with that being the case, I think I just want the Opt side, just because it's an extra card, and I can actually just put the Stomping Ground in to play tapped and then just blow EE. Early, I think that's better. So I'm going to put this one in, but yeah, I think those are the best piles you could have made. And I'm going to do this now because of
Breakable formation.
that and locks it on. And then I'll do this and pass to you.
I will play a Spectre Procession.
Okay, that's a good follow-up.
Spirits, play land and pass.
All right.
Probably the best follow-up I could have had.
Yeah. All right. So
now I know you have Tarn, Remand, Opt, Cryptic.
yes, I'll leave them for you. I'm at 10. Now I can start with an Opt. I can start with this other card in my hand. It's probably better to start with that one, I suppose. So I'm going to start with Growth Spiral.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Put a land into play and a land into play and go with this nice draw I drew. Anger. And I'll pass to you.
Okay, end step, I'll make a vampire.
All right.
Attack you for 1.
All right, I'll take it.
Got
9.
9 to 21.
Yep.
You can go.
All right. End step, crack this.
Brings you to 8. I've got this Adanta going, which is basically impossible for Corey to deal with unless he wants to bounce it with a Cryptic.
Yep. And that snowballs quite quickly.
Yeah, but he can also just start trying to build towards this Nexus end game.
Yeah, or an Uro, I think is what I'm really digging for. So bottom that land, that's a great draw. Untap, draw. That's also a great draw. All right, I got an Uro.
Go to 11.
I got myself at 12. Nope, I took a pan.
Yeah, you fetched.
Yep. Played this. Play my first land. I will bring this back.
Go to 14.
Yep, go to 14. Draw. I will get a zombie.
Oh, Jesus, you have field too.
Yeah, I'm guessing I have 7. Yeah. Okay. Then it's your go. Remember, I can never deck. I have Nexus.
I know.
No.
Legion's Landing.
Yep.
Get another vampire.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Instant. Correct.
You get a 13.
13. Get a Triumph and a zombie. Alright. Untap. Draw. Declare attacks. Trigger. Zombie.
Brings you to 16. I will chump the Uro, so I take 3 total.
Okay.
Brings me to 18.
Second main. Factor Fiction. 4, 5.
None of this is particularly interesting.
Yeah.
The field is probably the best card.
Yeah, probably.
The remand's our next best, so...
Yeah, I'll take this one. And then I'll put a field into play, get 2 Zombones, and I'll pass to you.
I'll make a vampire.
Okay.
Play Force of Virtue.
I'll remand it. Draw.
Play... I'll just wait till next turn.
Okay.
I'm just dead this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Gross Spiraling, put in another Zombone.
Eventually, Corey just finds Nexus. And,
Yeah, and it was... I did not have much left, so Nexus and Explosions were definitely in the mix.
So
Wow.
Explosion's a little awkward.
Yeah, a little awkward, but with being able to counter all your early creatures with Force Negation, and then just the mixture of this deck just having an insane late game, this did not go the way I thought. I honestly thought we even discussed this at the beginning. I thought for sure you were going to destroy me, but just the way that your creatures line up with Force Negation, I think, is the biggest problem, where I force everything because I have extra blue cards with Factor Fiction and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
eventually you're going to pull ahead. You just need to buy time. So
Yep.
your Force Negation has definitely been the key card from your side of the matchup.
Yep.
And I was a little bit slow there. You know, I didn't have a threat on turn 1 or 2.
Yep.
Just had Intangible Virtue on turn 2. So I wasn't really able to get anything going. That gave you time to even just remand and not even have to pitch the Force. You just cast it on 3.
And when you cast Intangible Virtue, my hand was Growth Spiral, Force, Cryptic Command, and I'm like, okay, I am not going to counter the enchantments and a Blast Zone. So I'm like, I am not going to counter your stuff that makes creatures better. I'm just going to counter your creatures, and it's just going to slow you down too much. And then I was thinking even to myself on that turn, I was like, I'm just going to wait till you assemble a second one and then use this Blast Zone, and that's just kind of exactly what happened.
Yeah, set it up all. So we'll get a little pity game here.
Pity
See if I
game!
can take one down with a nice curve on the play.
So now with your educated opinion on playing the deck, does the deck feel like a dream or more of a meme?
Well, I think the weakness to Force Negation is real because
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot around, and you know, one of the strengths of decks like these is you're good against typical anti-aggro interaction.
Yeah.
But you've now turned a card that is typically bad against aggro decks into an excellent one.
Yeah.
So you're not I think there's still a net gain because you're making Lightning Bolt worse, you're making Fatal Push worse, you're making all Abrupt Decay worse and things like that. But it's not as big of a gain because there is a trade-off on the other side.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, I'm starting to see the numbers when I look at modern top 8 lists and stuff from either Bant, Blue White Stoneblade, any kind of Reclamation, Sultai Reclamation team or whatever. It's just 4 Force these days. People are just have realized that this card is just unbelievable in the decks where you want to tap out during your turn with Wilderness Reclamation. That's kind of a bad example, but Stoneforge Mystic, Jace, where you can protect that Planeswalker after you slam a threat on turn 4 or whatever, after you tap out. People are just realizing that Force of Will is good, so Force of Negation is at least half as good, you know? So, I think people are accurately playing the right amount of that card these days, so.
100%.
Yep. All right, Rob, you got a question for us while we get ready for our pity game?
I do not right now.
All right. A quiet question there.
This is not a great hand.
Okay.
But I'm going to try it.
Okay. Ooh. Well, since we're on the pity game, I think we can keep a loose gooser, right?
Okay. Planes go.
All right. Easy game. All right, I will play an island go.
I will play a servo exhibition.
In response.
To 19.
I'll opt.
Yep.
I'll keep it. It resolves.
Get some servos and pass the turn. There they are. Thank you.
You are welcome.
On your upkeep.
Okay. Smart. Yeah, I mean, Force doesn't interact with that. Ross knows I have no interaction for that right now.
Get that down before Corey can play a second land and have remand up.
Okay, that resolves, and I'll pass to you.
I will play a Loxodon, going to 17.
Loxo? All right, I'll respond to that.
19, this feels like a remand.
Yeah, so what kind of land do I want? It is going to be a remand. I think I want Stomp of the Ground.
So you're going to go to 17 as well.
Unfortunately, Force of Virtue does not have the virtue ability of haste, or of vigilance, because vigilance would be nice here, get 4 damage in first. So I'm going to go to 17. I'm going to remand that.
Okay.
Draw a card. I'm going to play a Misty, and I'm going to pass to you.
I will attack for 4.
Okay, I will take it.
13.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
All right. End step, I will... Growth Spiral. I will put a Breeding Pool into play tapped and then crack this.
Go to 12.
Yep. Keep our land, or our diversity here. Try to get 4 other lands in case we field at some point. That's something that I normally am not conscious of. Playing Temur, just because it's not a normal thing. But all right, I will draw.
It is now.
It is now. 12. That's not necessarily a super healthy life total. So I think I'm kind of priced into doing this. I'm going to anger. I will... Oh, those are exiled. All right, your go.
And step, I'll go to 16 for a raise the alarm.
In response, I'll go to 11.
Yep.
I'm going to put anger on top. And then I'll remand.
Okay, pass the turn.
Okay. Tarn, your go.
I will play raise the alarm. 15.
Oh, counter draw.
Pass the turn.
End step, crack this.
You go to 10.
Yep.
You got like 6 or 7 over there.
I got a lot.
Oh, only 5.
Only
That's how many
5.
I have.
I'll put a cryptic command on top. May I untap? Playing kind of face up here, but it's just like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the bad thing here is that Corey with a land drop is going to be able to anger plus cryptic. So there's really no way around it.
He saw my line. He saw my line.
Yeah, cryptic's yeah.
All right. Draw this. I will play the land that I had and then pass to you.
And the turn raise the alarm.
I will cryptic draw, counter draw.
I'm at 14.
Oh, baby. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to 12 for a battle screech.
Force. Is that a good force target?
You can go.
All right. All right. I will get a zombie. Your go.
I will gather some townsfolk.
Okay.
I will go to 10 and Loxodon.
Oh, counterbounce. Done.
Yep.
All right. I will attack.
10 all. Oh, no, I went to 10 from this, so I'm at 8.
8. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were that low.
I
Makes sense.
was stuck on 3 lands with 2 Riser lands.
Yeah. Okay. I will anger. I will EE for 0. Mystic Sanctuary, putting this on top. Mega Zombie, your go.
I will gather some townsfolk.
Okay. Your folk have been gathered.
I will sack a Silent Clear.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. Draw. I'll attack. Yep. Kill 1. I will get a zombie. Here we go.
I will play Force of Virtue.
I will counterbounce.
Pass the turn.
All right. End step crack.
Go to 9.
Can I do that? Probably need one of my lines.
No, you have 7 already right here.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
any land is fine.
All right. I will just get this. Get a zombie. Untap. Draw. I will attack.
Block.
Okay.
I go to 6.
I will Mystic Sanctuary, get a zombie, put Cryptic Command on top.
Yep.
Oh, with the trigger to put this on the top on the stack, Nexus of Fate.
I'm dead.
Yep. Yeah, that was kind of a beating.
Yeah, just I wasn't really able to get under you at all.
Yeah, not really.
I think I really need to start on a turn 1 Legion's landing to be able to get under you.
Yeah.
Didn't have it in any of those games, but you only have 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen that often.
Yeah, and it's just like every single card was pretty good in my deck against you, like even Remap.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt was okay at breaking your stuff up, but that was probably my worst piece of interaction. Reman was awesome because most of the time you waited for my end step, which is correct, because if you don't, then I get to anger you and you untap with nothing. So, I wasn't too afraid of stuff you would play on your turn, because if you just dump your hand on your turn, then I have one of my sweepers, or I have a fetch land and an anger in my yard. So my lands always generate, Wraths or Cryptic Commands, and then the Cryptic bounce Mystic Sanctuary to counter something every other turn for free, even though I'm not drawing anything, but with the field, I'm also pressuring. So it's just everything seems to line up pretty badly against that white deck with the Temur red deck.
What you really need is something that really punishes the blue player for tapping out on their own end step to counter your EOT raise the alarms.
Yeah.
You need that, but the only thing you think of is like Gideon ally Zendikar. Is that going to be good enough?
Yeah, or like getting a trial like stuff like that is
some
not
sort of planeswalker is what you would think of. It would be a sideboard card for this kind of a matchup, and it could be good, but it's not going to be awesome, and it's still going to get force of negation. I think that weakness to force of negation is really huge in these blue matchups, and that's a huge mark for me against playing a deck like this.
Agreed.
If you're not able to beat counterspell decks with your aggro deck, what are you doing?
And it's only because of force. I mean, remand, stuff like that, you can get around, and if you start generating mana and like the remand does nothing, that's fine. But force is everywhere. You play in Modern right now, you got to be wary of force and negation. Yeah. So
and then you think like, well, even if you can keep me off my early aggression, I've got things like Adonto from Legion's Landing and Battle Screech and ways to generate and Windbrisk Heights and Horizon Lands, and ways to go long. But these blue decks just have such an incredible end game with Uro and Mystic Sanctuary. This one goes even further with Nexus of Fate and Wilderness Reclamation, but just Uro and Mystic Sanctuary is already such a powerful end game with Cryptic Command that you're not beating that with Adonto. You saw in game 2. I'm just not trumping the end game from this deck. So
no, that was always a foolproof plan against Is It Phoenix and Standard. That Adonto land will do 10 damage over the course of the game, but it's not what it once was. And one other point of this deck that I really love, so once again, shout out to Canister. I have been an avid lover of his decks before, and this just felt super smooth and it felt really good. And the main reason, Factor Fiction draws this deck together so well. I mean, you can have these small amounts of 1 or 2 ofs that you really need to find, like Anger, EE, and if you just ever hit them, they can either do the 1 and 4 pile and you're like, okay, well, these 4 are still better than the EE, or if you just need that kind of sweeper effect, or you need that Cryptic Command to tap down and win the game, or you need Wilderness Reclamation, Factor Fiction seems like it does it all, and it also has that secondary mode, if you will, of, okay, just putting Uro into the graveyard if it's in one of your piles, and now you have an escape effect where you don't have to waste time playing the front half. So I think Factor Fiction in this deck is awesome.
Yeah, it's more than just a good card advantage spell. It has a lot of little synergies with the deck, and it's just really, really powerful. And honestly, even though it was destroying me, it was fun sitting there on camera going through the Factor Fiction piles. It's always been one of the most interesting cards. I know, competitive players really love it for that reason.
I love it.
Yeah.
One of the best design cards, I think, ever. And a good player against good player. If you get a player who is not as experienced up against a good player, they're just like, oh my god, if you give me that pile, this game is over. You need one more card over there, But good player against good player, they will sit and analyze those micro moments, be like, I don't know though, 4 lands is just too many. I think still you put, there's those little arguments that people will go back and forth on all the time, which I think just makes a really good Magic card. So, all right, everyone, that is going to do it for round number 1 here. We got up next, I know I'm playing the Electro Balance deck. What are you playing?
I've got a little Rakdos Skelemental action with Ransack the Lab.
We talked about this on Tuesday. People were saying, is that Elemental deck better than the Rakdos deck? So I figured we would give this actual Rakdos deck a try because it looks really cool. Skelemental is a card you didn't get to use against me too well in the Elementals deck. I mean, the one time you drew it, I had you discard it. But it's a really cool card, and I really want to see how it works. Plus, the Electro Balance deck has been doing good. I personally think it's a bad deck, but we are going to find out next round. So we're going to take a short 5-minute break, and we'll be right back with round number 2 here on Versus Live.